Good morning. Hope you're doing well this morning. It's time for a devotion, and we're reading from 1 Peter 4. This morning we will be reading from verse 7 to 11, and it's just something that stood out to us, me and Jesse, in our reading earlier this week, and I just wanted to share it with you. The first 6 verses before that, Peter's addressing or talking about Christ suffering the flesh, and how we are to not to live in the flesh, but by the will of God, and then talking about preaching the gospel to those who are still dead, those who are still living in the flesh, and then verse 7 starts like this: "But the end of all things is at hand. Therefore be serious and watchful in your prayers. And above all things have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. Be hospitable to one another without grumbling. As each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God." And that verse 10 there is what stood out to me, where Peter's talking about the gifts we are given, and he talks about being a good steward, and you know, the gifts that we received from God, we should know so that we can be good stewards of those gifts, and we might not always know them, but we should be trying to seek what they are, so we can be good stewards of those gifts. And we know that Jesus is the head of the church, and the church as a body, Jesus is the head, and that the head of a body is what controls it. You know, the rest of the body parts are submissive to the head, to our brain, for the purpose of the goal of the head, and that's how we should be for Jesus, and all different body parts work differently. They don't do the same thing, and they're all needed. And if one body part's not working as it should be, then the rest of the body can suffer or not function as it should. And so all our giftings and all of us as church is equally important to work functionally as we should as a church, and so that just to encourage us this morning to seek out what our gift is if we don't already know, or to encourage us to use our gifts to minister as Peter is instructing here, or encouraging here, and know that we've been given them by the grace of God, and that is a pleasure. And sometimes it might not be what we want. You know, we don't get to choose what our giftings are, do we? And I think to think of a few giftings, you know, there's some that are more clearly seen, like Pastor Dave is gifted in preaching from the front of church, and there's those who are gifted in leading worship, but then there's those who are not seen so much, those who are gifted in doing physical things around church. You know, Trevor does a lot of stuff that you don't really see, but he's busy all the time doing practical things around church. And there's those who clean, and those who are getting alongside people, and those who cook, and the rest of it. All these things are gifts, given by the grace of God, and we are to be good stewards of them. And so I just encourage us to be good stewards and to do things joyfully, knowing that it's by the grace of God. And to finish there, I'll read the last verse 11. If anyone speaks, let him speak as the oracles of God. If anyone ministers, let him do it as with the ability which God supplies, that in all things God may be glorified through Jesus Christ, to whom belong the glory and the dominion forever and ever. Amen. God bless you. I hope that you have a great day today.